Back again with another evening on the balcony with an AJ Fernandez New World cigar. You probably can't see it. Okay. Let me put the New World cigar. It's burning very good. It's a very good burn. I love it. Hint of almond and milk chocolate, peppery. And all that. Yes. I want to know how's everybody doing on this beautiful Thursday evening. Hope everybody's doing very well. I'm not going to be here long. I'm not going to hold y'all long because I have an evening of college football to watch, and I'm glad, happy that college football is back. Fall is here, is almost here. The summer is over. Your badass children are going back to school, and I'm certain a lot of y'all are happy about that. But I don't really have much thoughts tonight. Just want to recap the whole summer. We had a very interesting summer. As I mentioned, I was on a vacation on a cruise all the way up to Canada, which, doing some family time. And when I got back and read a report that Snoop Dogg took his grandson and his grandchildren to the movies to watch Lightyear. I don't know if that was the sequel to the Buzz Lightyear. I don't really watch movies that much anymore, and I certainly don't watch children's movies. Excuse me, I'm just having some coffee. And this cigar, my AJ Fernandez cigar, it actually goes well with my coffee. So this is my go-to cigar from now on. I had a conversation with one of the brothers at my cigar shop, the cigar warehouse that I usually get my cigars, and he really enjoys AJ Fernandez. This is his go-to stick. So if you ever want to get into cigars, if you ever want to get your smoke, my advice to you is just sample them all. See which one you like, see which ones you like drinking with your favorite beverage or liquor or even beer. See which one it fits. If it's for you, cool. If it's not for you, it's not for everybody. I got introduced, like I said before in my last live stream, I got introduced to cigars from a friend of mine who gave me one of his sticks, and I was just hooked ever since. It's not really hooked on nicotine, but I just like sitting on my balcony and at night on a day and just chilling. It's relaxed because I had a hard week. I had a hard week with the clients and everything, with work and clients, and coming back off of vacation, and you got to get back into work mode and competitive mode. I was just having a tough week, so I just needed to get a stick so I can just go ahead and relax, reset. Labor Day is almost here. Last cookout of the summer. Me and my friends are gonna go hang out at the beach one last time. I have a cookout over there, and we'll see what happens. But other than that, everything is good. Everything is everything. I have no complaints about life, but I just enjoy talking to you fellas out there in YouTube land. Maintain your reputation and maintain your dignity. All right, and I want you to stand on business. And here's an example of standing on business. As I mentioned before, Snoop Dogg took his grandchildren, and this is how old I am. I remember Snoop Dogg from the 90s, man. Well, he was a young buck, just like me, and now we're getting up there in age, man. To all you young folks out there in your 20s, let me tell you something. Yeah, call me an old man. You can call me an old man if you want to. I don't give a fuck. All right? But there's going to be a time, 30 years from now, you're going to be 50, and it's going to creep up on you. It's going to come real quick. And especially if you got married and have children, and your children growing up, and you having grandchildren in the blink of an eye. And also in the blink of an eye, you're going to be on that orange. You're going to be taking orange pill medication. I'm trying to avoid that. I'm trying to avoid it. But two entities you can't beat. You can't beat Father Time, and you certainly can't beat Mother Nature. They all undefeated. Okay. So anyway, he took his grandchildren to see Lightyear. And there was a scene where two women, one of the women were having a baby from another woman. And his grandbaby had was asking questions. Asking questions about how could a woman have a baby with another woman? So he was all outraged. He was in a nigger outrage and saying, I didn't come to the movies to see this shit. At a children's movie. And quite frankly, I don't blame him. Why would I want to expose my children? I don't have any children, but why would I want to expose children to liquor license? All right? Women that have liquor license. Now, don't get me wrong. I hate using this euphemism, but I have people that are gays and lesbians, and I have no problem with them individually. All right, that's their lifestyle, that's their business. I don't give a fuck. All right, but do we, as adults, and I'm not a parent. Trust me, I'm not a parent. So y'all parents, y'all do whatever you want to. I'm not going to stand in your way. Just know that. Just remember that your children are going to grow up, and when your children grows up, they're going to have to deal with me and my children, my adult children. Well, I have to deal with them, and I don't love your children. Okay, I just want you to understand that I don't love your children. I don't like anybody else's badass children anyway, but I don't love your children. Okay, so just keep that in mind when you're out in public with them. But circling back on this issue of putting gay and lesbian images out there for the children. Now, I don't know how y'all feel about that. I would just sit down with the parents. The parents and your children should sit down and talk about this shit, because it's not going away. It's not going to go away anytime soon. All right? Now, I'm not saying it's right or wrong. I'm not saying I agree with it. It's just what it is in the 21st century. And we're halfway moving towards the middle of the 21st century. All right? Who knows if we're going to have a country by then? 2050s, who knows if there's going to be a country? Who knows if I'm going to be around? I may not be around. This country may not be around. This may be an apocalypse right before 2050. I don't know. All I know is that 100 years from now, 21, 25, there's going to be a whole new world. We're not dealing with 18, 19, 20th century values. I grew up in the 20th century where we didn't even talk about this shit. All right? Everybody was in the closet. And if everybody was out openly, they had their own community. They had their own circle. Me personally, I don't give a fuck. I don't give a fuck what y'all do. I don't give a fuck what anybody does. As long as you don't fuck with me, I'm not fucking with you. So like I said, if you can have all you can have as many liquor, carpet munchers if you want. Ladies, you can if you can deal with the carpet munchers, go ahead and deal with it. Gays, if you want to be a butt pirate for the rest of your life, I don't give a fuck. Alright? Now I'm not saying don't put it in my face. It's here. It's here. It's here. I'm gonna deal with it accordingly. Just don't fuck with me. That's all I care about. You can do whatever you want to. Don't fuck with me. But Snoop Dogg, but they want to cancel him. Cancel him for what? For giving a fuck about his children? His grandchildren? For saying he don't want to see that shit? He don't want his grandchild to see this shit? On a children's movie? Listen. Let's talk about childhood. Let's talk about TV violence when it comes to cartoons back in the 50s and the 60s. Now I'm watching Me Toons, which is the free over-the-air channel which began airing all the old cartoons back in the 1940s, 50s, and 60s, and even in the 70s and the 80s. All of the last 20th century. And it was violent. And there was an organization that was trying created an industry around getting these cartoons off the air that are extremely violent, which they were. They were extremely, in the 40s and the 50s, they were extremely violent and racist, but that was of their time. And they explained it in the disclaimer that, it was during the time where this was accepted. Racism, violence, whites, pretty much a cartoon that was built on white images that making fun of black folks or other groups. Like I said, it's not right, but that's just the way it was back then, and it was accepted. But it's not accepted anymore. And we're gonna go in, and you know what? Let me go ahead and transition out of that. Because everybody was talking about woke. I'm not woke. What the fuck is woke? What does that mean? Some people say woke is anti-white supremacist, as Tariq Nasheed says. I think it's more liberal. And I'm gonna talk about the Cracker Barrel images that they updated their logo about a couple of weeks ago. Which I didn't have a problem with it. I don't give a fuck. To be honest with you, I don't really give a fuck whether Cracker Barrel changed their image, changed their logo to whatever it is that they want to change it to. That is a private company. They can do what the fuck they want to do. Now I've seen that image of a white man sitting in a chair, leaning against a barrel, Cracker Barrel. And as soon as they change that logo, as soon as they change the logo or whatever it is, these white motherfuckers lost their motherfucking mind. And they started to blame black folks. But let me just tell you this, and all the white folks that are listening to this live stream, let me just tell you something. It wasn't black folks that ushered the change in that logo. So I want you to stop saying that, because black folks, we don't give a fuck about what Cracker Barrel does. You think they give a fuck about 500 people who's not going to go to their restaurant because of that logo? No. They're in the 21st century. They decided to make a change. They rebrand. That's what corporations do. And I don't really get the image of it. I don't give a fuck. I don't understand. I don't know the history or the history behind that image of that logo. I don't give a fuck, because whenever I go down south, I don't go to those restaurants, man. I don't go to Cracker Barrel. I don't make a beeline. Hey, let's go to Cracker Barrel. For what? For who? And white folks are getting in a nigger outrage and a fraud over this bullshit. Even the Orange Pimp had to get involved in this. Now let me just say this about the Orange Pimp. When he was eliminating DEI, diversity, equity, and inclusive programs, pretty much bullying corporations for giving black folks and other groups an opportunity to work for corporate America and work in these corporate industries, which I personally have a bad taste in my mouth about corporate America, because they'll chew you out and chew you up and spit you out. I have no desire to update my resume to work for AT&T, to work for Target, to work for Best Buy. I have no desire for it, because I believe that black folks should go into a trade. Go into a trade. Master their trade. So they can work. So they can work without the fear of being laid off, because their skills can transfer to another job or go out on their own. But I never understood why the white folks, particularly the white supremacists, that believe that we're in a woke culture ever since George Floyd. And I never got a chance to talk about that either. Now, here's what I feel. Here's my 2 cents on George Floyd, all right? Say what you want about his criminal history. He had a criminal history. All right. Gotcha. He had a criminal history. He was pimping out bitches. Gotcha. That day that he was murdered by the police, because I believe he was murdered, because the guy was obviously out of it, and they had no intention of giving him medical assistance. And they exacerbated it by one of the officers putting his knee right on his neck. He was on the ground, he was handcuffed. Where was he going to go? What was he going to do? And he did that in front of, and police officers did that in front of a crowd of people who saw it and said, get up off of him. Even the medic said, hey, get your ass up off of him. That's why that punk ass police officer, Derek Chauvin, is in prison right now. It wasn't because of any crap, because people who were outraged about this shit tore up half of Minneapolis. It wasn't his fault that, hey, maybe we should just reform, maybe police reform should happen. That's nothing woke. We're in the 21st century. Why would we want to use 20th century solutions to a 21st century problem? There's cameras all over the damn place anyway. All right? It's not liberal. It's not woke. It's not liberal. It's evolving. It's changing. You got to change with the times, man. And this is coming from somebody that was born and raised in the late 20th century, where I had to endure dealing with people that were born in the late 1900s, the late 1800s. They were alive when I was a little kid, when I was a little boy. They still use the term color to referring to black folks. They were still using whenever I was going through these Italian neighborhoods in New York City. I've heard stories of brothers and sisters called Moulignans and Ditsun. No, I was there. I grew up in what's called an unwoke society. All right? The sleeping society, where you can just go around and treat other groups of people like shit by white folks. But I never believed in that racism, white supremacy. I never believed in that. And there are white folks that don't believe in that bullshit either. So whenever somebody white uses the term woke, ask them, what does that mean? What does woke mean? Because I still don't know what it means. Explain to me what being woke is all about, man. Just changing with the times? Evolving? That's why that punk ass police officer, former police officer Derek Chauvin, is in prison right now. And he deserves to go to prison for negligence, for murder. And it was all caught on camera. And those of y'all defending this punk ass police officer, hey, listen. You can defend them if you want to. It's your right. This is a country where you have a right to defend anybody. But that says a lot about you. That says a lot about you, my man, my dude. Let me see who's on here. Dan, your Barry Sports Highlights. Hey, how you doing? Happy Thursday. Hello, everyone. Hello, everybody on here that's listening to this live. All right? Don't worry, I'm not going to be too much longer, man. I just wanted to get that out of my system about what is woke. What is woke culture? I don't know what the fuck that is. Explain it to me. Somebody explain it to me. You know what's woke or liberal. And speaking of football coming up, football season coming up, my favorite time of the year, my favorite month of the year, August, is about to wind down, and my second favorite is September. It's coming up. What it means to be evolving is I'm seeing more and more women in the male spaces. And I'm going to tell you right now, I don't agree with it. I don't like it, but it's here. You got women coaching football. There's going to be a female head coach in the NBA real soon, and there's going to be a female head coach in the NFL, if not in college. Being born in the 20th century, I think it's a joke, but it's here. What am I going to do? What the fuck am I going to do about it? I wish I can go back to the time where bras did not like sports, but we're here. And if they did, when I was growing up, when we did see a broad that was put out there playing basketball and football, we would call them dykes or peppermint patties and shit. We got all these peppermint patties in the sports right now. Don't get me wrong, that was my favorite Peanuts character, but damn it, man. Can we have some male spaces where we could just sit down and chill and, smoke a cigar and just chill out? And not think about broads every 5 seconds, every 5 minutes? I know I'm on this channel. I know I've been doing a lot of channels about dealing with broads and dealing with punk ass bitches and all that shit. I talk about them too much on my channel, on my live stream in the past couple of weeks. But it's necessary. That's what y'all be talking about. That's what y'all be thinking about. Hell, I'm heterosexual. I love bras. I love titties and ass in my face. I love banging broads of all colors. I don't give a fuck. Dr. Umar, if you're listening, Dr. Umar, I don't give a fuck. You should be paying attention to building that damn school of yours, which is never going to happen. So that's why I created this channel years ago. That's why I wanted this channel is strictly for black men to talk about what's on their mind, talk about the issues that nobody else is talking about. And I put my thoughts out there, and I put my insights out. I have an insight towards any topic that comes up in society. Because I used to drink all my lives. I still drink. I'd rather have a cigar and talk to y'all. But what does it mean to be woke? Somebody needs to explain it to me. Explain it to me in the comment section. What does it mean to be woke? I don't know what that means. Does that mean subscribing to Black Lives Matter? I don't know. Because we know that's bullshit. That's another group. That's another group that made their money off the backs of black folks and black suffering. That they got these white folks losing their mind, getting involved in this, in trying to help erase racism, white supremacy with a system of justice. But you know what that bitch did? That bitch took that money and bought a house out in LA, $1 million house. All these motherfuckers that created these groups on the backs of black folks and black suffering, they became millionaires. While I'm still working for a living. While me, you, and everybody else that's listening to this live stream is working for a living. The pro-black hustle, Dr. Umar, You didn't want to take white folks' money because let me tell you something, white folks, you take their money and you don't do what you say you was gonna do, one or two things are gonna happen. They're gonna send an attorney after you to bankrupt you, or somebody's gonna run up on you and start impressing you. See, black folks, as soon as they say or do something that may be beneficial and get us beneficial to our community and get excited and want to donate and want to help and want to defend you by saying, oh man, why you gotta tear a black man down? We're trying to help his people. He wasn't trying to help his people. He was trying to get money and trying to get pussy from black women. The same black women that was used up by Pookie and Ray Rays. Okay? He's a Pookie. He's a Pookie. He's a Pookie. He's a well-educated Pookie, but I think he's a CIA operative anyway. Same with Reverend Al, same with Jesse Jackson, man. Reverend Al, Reverend Jesse made millions off of the suffering of black folks and never gave none of that money back to the community. You ever notice that, folks, fellas? The donations that you give these jokers, you never seen a return on your investment. You donating to Dr. Umar, PayPal, Cash App, Zelle. Did you ever get a tax deduction by sending this fool a check for $1,000 to a school that's never going to exist? See, y'all the suckers. And see, let me tell you something. People like that turn people like me into so-called coons. When another brother or sister that want to do something, I said, nah, fuck y'all. You ain't getting my money, fuck y'all. See, as black folks, we always romanticize the 1960s, the struggle, the civil rights movement. We romanticize it. Because Dr. King was the only one and Malcolm X were the only two people that was actually doing shit. And was effective. That's why they had to get rid of him. You ever notice that? That's why they had to delete him. That's why they were deleted off this planet at an early age, at 39. Didn't even make 40. That brother out in Chicago got murdered by the Chicago police in his bed at 22 years old, trying to help black folks. You ever notice, man, whenever you try to help black folks, you get eliminated? Okay? Either they turn you into an operative or you get eliminated. Not saying that's what happened to Dr. Umar, but it's kind of funny when you up in you're trying so hard to build a school for young black men. To learn to become educated outside of the state curriculum. It's kind of hard to do that, fella. It's kind of hard to do that because they will shut it down. Like I said, if Dr. Umar was successful in getting that school done, open, in the running, up and running, it'll be a grand opening and a grand closing. Why? Because he can't keep his dick in his pants. Or he's stealing money because he's up here running around traveling the world talking shit. Oh, listen, I've been in 30 minutes. I got to get back to finishing my cigar and watching some college football. But I'll be back over the weekend. I'll definitely be back on Saturday with my Balcony Chronicles. But I want you to enjoy the rest of your week. Enjoy your weekend. Enjoy your Labor Day weekend. Do not drink and drive because white supremacists are out there trying to get you. And you don't want a DUI on your record. Because your insurance is going to go up. Your license is going to be suspended. You're going to have to pay court costs, fines, and all that bull jive. You're going to be on probation. You're going to be in the system for a little while over a DUI case, man. All because you drank a little bit too much and you decided to drive and the police caught you. Okay? Or you get into an accident. And if you get into an accident and you injure somebody or maim or kill someone, not only will you go to prison, you will be sued liable, and whatever assets that you have is gone. You can lose everything, your job, your assets, and it's pretty much hard to start all over again when you're in that situation. So don't do it, fellas. Don't do it. Take an Uber, take a Lyft, leave your car there, come back in the morning and get it. Get your car and drive home. It's not worth it. Well, listen, let me go ahead and get the fuck up out of here. This is Talking Crazy 88, and I am out of here. And black folks, let's be careful out there, all right?